Hello everyone, we are the Group 6 and today we are going to present the Philippine laws on urban planning, particularly on the Clean Air Act of 1999 and the revised vehicle emission. To start, makita natin sa pictures na to yung top 3 contributors of air pollution sa Pilipinas, which are the motor vehicles, stationary sources kagaya ng factories, and open burning of organic matter. To address this growing problem of poor air quality, the Philippine government enacted two laws which we will be tackling in the following slides. The first one is the Philippine Air Act of 1999 or the Republic Act of 8749. This law provides a comprehensive policy for air pollution control in the Philippines. By doing this, we can maintain the cleanliness of our air and also make sure that every Filipino can breathe the clean and healthy air. For the rationale, we boil it down to 3 points. The first one is to protect our right to a balanced and healthful environment, and it also follows the principle of polluters must pay, which means na kung sino man yung nag-harm sa air has to take responsibility. And because there are consequences sa polluting, na-help nito na ma-prevent or ma-limit yung actions that could damage the environment. The second one is states that while we meet the needs of today, we also consider the long-term health of our planet. And at the same time, it gives local government units the responsibility to manage pollution and environmental programs in their communities. This way, efforts can be more focused and effective in each area. And lastly, it promotes shared responsibility. Because although the government is the one that makes and implements the law, air is something we all benefit from and should all care about. For the scope and limitations, the beneficiaries are all Filipinos, which benefit from better health and a safer environment, as well as the communities in urban areas, which can benefit from the reduced risk of smog, respiratory illnesses, and climate impacts. The law includes the following. First is the air quality standards for different sources, like stationary sources, which are yung buildings na nag-emit with emissions such as factories and industrial plants, mobile sources, which includes motor vehicles, and fuels and additives, kagaya ng diesel and gasoline. For B, regulation of hazardous substance, which includes ozone-depleting substances. Ito yung mga chemicals na nagde-destroy ng ating ozone layer. The second one is greenhouse gases, which are the gases that trap heat in the atmosphere, causing the greenhouse effect. And lastly, the persistent organic pollutants, which are the toxic chemicals that do not break down easily in the environment. So they persist for decades and nagsispread siya sa air and water. And nag-accumulate din siya sa ating food chain, especially sa fat tissues ng animals and also sa ating mga tao. And lastly, the legal mechanisms, which includes citizen suits, fines, penalties, and closure of violators.
Next naman is scope and limitations pa din, but this law excludes the following. Una, yung exclusion ng indoor air pollution. So basically, ang cover lang ng mismong law na to is yung outdoor or ambient air pollution, and hindi niya kinakover yung mga indoor air pollution like sa bahay and offices or kahit anong enclosed establishment. Next one naman is yung exclusion ng water and solid waste pollution. So dito sa Clean Air Act na to is nakafocus lang siya mismo sa mismong air quality, and hindi niya cover yung mismong environmental concerns like mga water contamination and yung mga garbage management. But etong mga nabanggit ko na ibang mga environmental concern is may kanyang-kanya mismong law na humahawak doon, like yung Clean Water Act and yung Ecological Solid Waste Management. And last one is the exemption and limited coverage. So hina-highlight naman dito yung mga ibang activity like yung pagsisiga o kahit yung pagsusunog doon sa mga open area and even yung mga firecrackers. So hindi siya talaga nakokontrol at all, pero those said activities doon are either loosely regulated or given exemptions, though na parehas silang or lahat ng mga yun is nakaka-apekto at nagpro-provide ng harmful pollutants and nakaka-apekto ng human health and the environment.
Proceeding po sa relevant discussion, firstly we have the section 2, which is about the declaration of principles. So this section ensures the right to a healthy environment while also recognizing the local government to address the issues related to it. So one of the ways kung paano nakaka-apekto itong law sa current issue is yung pagdedeklara ng month of November as the Clean Air Month through National Vehicle Inspection and Maintenance Consciousness, which encourages public participation. Dito, pinopromote yung transitional shift in planning and design by integrating climate-friendly infrastructures, prioritizing mass public transit, shared mobility, walking, and cycling as part ng isang sustainable urban solutions. Next slide po. First, practical benefits. Makikita to sa mga lugar kung saan nag-establish sila ng mga dedicated bike lanes with green spaces na nag-link sa mga cities as well as sa provinces that encourages healthier ways to commute. The second section, which is the section number 3. So this is dedicated sa policies wherein yung primary focus naman is to prevent pollution rather than uncontrol. So addressing current air pollution issues is part ng program na na-launch ng Manila City Government and Clean Air Asia called Blue Skies Program. And ito, ginagawa to through training and workshops. And also, meron din tong mga action plan na nag-educate sa public and cities na mag-adapt sa mga similar strategies such as yung better maintenance system for vehicles, introducing electric transport option, better waste management efforts, and enhanced hospital practices to ensure na cleaner yung indoor and outdoor air. So, isa sa mga practical benefits nito is hindi lang yung na-address yung clean air quality, but also yung solid waste problem na meron tayo. So, one scenario is yung meron sa Barangay 128 in Tondo, Manila, wherein nag-establish sila ng Material Recovery Facility or the MRF, kung saan may mga areas for sorting, composting, and even mga small gardens. And also, nag-establish din sila ng mga store kung saan na-showcase nila yung mga upcycled products. So, hindi lang nito na-improve yung environmental condition, but also na-promote nila yung mga sustainable practices and local opportunities na meron.
In Section 4, which highlights the recognition of rights of the citizens, kung saan they have the right to breathe air, participate in formulation, planning, and implementation, to be informed and bring legal action for damage. In the GMA News, they features the experts in technological and academic institutions that they pursue real-time air quality monitoring, kung saan they can now monitor a bigger and better pollution cases. This will help to give information sa mga Filipinos regarding sa hazards and pollution. Since according sa global pollution, tinatayang 8.1 million deaths nationwide dahil sa air pollution noong 2021. So this is why they wanted to have a real-time monitor that helps the public health. On the other hand, people in Mandaluyong held protests about the urgency of air pollution since many people are still vulnerable under the outdated air quality standards ng Pilipinas. This protest is a testament that citizens have the right to breathe a fresh air and should update the older version of the law. Sabi nga naman tao sa campaign that it's been 25 years na ang Clean Air Act and hindi na siya nakakasabay sa science, where DNR should lead and update the policy in line with science and WHO standards for the better quality and health. In relation to the IDA place, air quality must be considered and prioritized. This is an opportunity to create a space that is functional at the same time to create a sustainable mobility plan. We can also use these pieces to use proactive strategies that create a space that reduces the pollution that help and protect the well-being of the user.
So for the synthesis naman is that the Philippine Clean Air Act of 1999 or the RA 8749 fosters shared responsibility by recognizing that a clean and healthy environment benefits all, making it a concern of every sector of society. More than 2 decades after its enactment, its objectives of protecting public health, ensuring ecological balance, and holding polluters accountable remain highly relevant as urbanization, industrialization, and the increasing number of motor vehicles continue to worsen, with air pollution ranking as third leading risk factor for death and disability in the Philippines, and as the foremost environmental health threat due to its link with non-communicable diseases. The Act's provisions are still vital, and it is still vital as it is evolving protector of public health and ecological balance. Requires stronger enforcement, updated standards aligned with international benchmarks, and integration with other environmental policies to address both current and emerging challenges, including climate change.
Next law is the DNR TAO 200-350. So, revised vehicle emission, also called revised emission standards for in-use motor vehicles equipped with spark, ignition, and compression engine. Ang law nito ay para mapantayan sa emission or ang lahat ng antas ng usok, carbon monoxide, hydrocarbons, particulate matter, na dapat sundin ng lahat ng uri ng motor vehicles that equipped with spark ignition and compression engine. Like bring all the or in-use vehicles for certified standards to reduce the vehicular air pollution. This will benefit the urban community for the improvement of air quality, motorists and vehicle owners, and of course the urban areas and environment na nakakabawas sa mga usok and the pollution. This applies in all motor vehicles with spark ignition and compression engines, but it is exception with motorcycle vehicles. They need to give pre-registered for DORC or LTO.
So for the relevant discussions naman po, for this law is first the Section 4 that contains a definition of terms where it provides clear definitions of technical and regulatory terms used throughout the order to ensure consistency in implementation. The definition of terms used in this section shall be the same as those terms or words defined in DAO 2081 except spark ignition engine and three-way catalytic converter. Thus, for the current news report naman po is that last November 2024, Department of Energy intends to reduce emissions and support local industry by enforcing 3% cocoa methyl ester biodiesel across all diesel fuel, which leads us to the potential scenarios where the high costs can escalate into unexpected infrastructural or health expenses that offsets the environmental gains.
For Section 5, which talks about the emission standards for in-use motorcycle vehicles. Basically, yung sinasabi lang dito is no compliance means no registration renewal. So before kasi i-renew ng LTO yung vehicle registration ng isang tao, ng sasakyan, kailangan mo nang mag-undergo and mapasa na yung emission test. Emission test means or mini-measure yung pollutants coming from the vehicle like smoke, carbon monoxide, nitrogen oxides, and others. And if nag-fail yung sasakyan sa emission test, kailangan niya munang ipa-repair to and makapasa ulit sa another test before ma-renew yung registration. This ensures na yung vehicle sa kalsada ay na-meet yung environmental standards, na-reduce yung air pollution from smoke belching and poorly maintained cars. For the current issues, news reports and case studies, nakikitaan ng positive effects in terms of air quality in some dense urban areas. According sa DENR, merong significant improvement of air quality in Metro Manila in 2014, largely due to emission reduction programs which includes the enforcement of Euro 4 fuel standards since 2016. For instance, in 2024, the PM10 levels dropped by 17.4% and the PM2.5 by 37.6% compared to 2016. So yung nabanggit ko na PM10 and PM2.5 are the tiny particles mainly from vehicle exhaust and industrial sources na nagpe-penetrate sa lungs and even enter the bloodstream. So reducing them has a direct impact on public health. Thanks to this, air quality in Metro Manila has improved significantly, and by having that, it allows cities to be more livable and sustainable. For potential scenarios, it mainly talks about the table 2, which implies the smoke limits for diesel engines, stating na yung smoke capacity must not exceed to certain standard. And knowing that jeepneys and buses are the biggest contributors of black carbon and soot in Metro Manila and other urban areas, many of the said vehicles still fail to meet the standard. With that, the Public Utility Vehicle Modernization Program was launched during 2017, aiming to replace the old jeepneys with Euro 4 compliant electric or hybrid units. And sa pag-introduce ng project na yan, nagkaroon ng divided opinions. Many view it positively as the new design accommodates more passengers, the seats are more comfortable and have air conditioning aside from being a better option for the environment. On the other hand, may issues rin, mainly galing sa drivers and operators, which sinasabi nila since mas expensive siya, cost ranging from 1.6 to 2.4 million per unit, it is too heavy of a burden para sa kanila, which led to concerns of jeepney drivers that it might phase out their livelihood. Also, meron ding concern about cultural loss since jeepneys have been entitled as the king of the road, symbolizing post-war Filipino ingenuity from converted US military jeeps. And in addition, since known na siya as transportation vehicle sa country, they become a daily experience for millions, which led to being part of a collective memory. Hence, replacing them with standardized modern minibuses might lead to the risk of erasing cultural heritage. For Section 6, it is the test procedures for measurement of exhaust emissions. For current issues, given the standard test procedures stated on this section, negative effects are still observed, especially in cases where there can be a risk on the credibility of emission test results. In the said article, the Land Transportation Office suspended 12 private emission testing centers for allegedly faking emission test results and customer presence during inspections. The centers are said to undergo non-appearance practices, which means that the vehicle did not actually show up at the emission testing center or inspection site, but the center still issued a certificate as if it had been tested. Investigators found that these centers uploaded manipulated photos and data to the LTO's database, making it appear that the vehicles had undergone proper testing. Nagkaroon ng show cause orders sa IT providers for possible revocation of accreditation sa nasabing centers. It is very alarming since according sa LTO officials na rin na such non-appearance practices endanger road safety and public health by allowing non-compliant smoke-belching vehicles to continue operating.
So as per the current issues from Section 6, practical benefits such as maintaining public awareness of vehicle pollution and its health impacts, sustaining momentum towards cleaner transportation standards, preventing rollback of emissions, supervision efforts already in place, and ensuring continued detection and discipline of high polluting vehicles even without a fully operational motor vehicle inspection system or MVIS may be achieved. In relation to IDA's goals and objectives into creating a convergence of architectural practices as a part of cultural heritage, the emphasis on sustainable and context-sensitive solutions directly aligns with the preservation of that heritage while adapting to modern environmental challenges, kung saan sa pamamagitan ng pag-combine natin ng mga makabagong paraan ng modern design methodologies and technologies sa mga cultural heritage, pinapaunlad nito yung mga practices na kinoconsider ang kasaysayang pagkakarinlan habang minimake sure ang kaugnayan nito sa makabagong pangailangan. Instead, ulitin or reproduce ang past. This convergence highlights the idea that architecture functions not only as a medium of cultural memory, but also as a proactive response to pressing global challenges such as pollution, urbanization, and climate change.
Now let's go to the synthesis and suggestions. So DNR DAO 200351 plays a key role in controlling air pollution by requiring emissions testing for motor vehicles and setting stricter standards for both gasoline and diesel engines. So ina-ensure nito hindi lang yung compliant vehicles yung register but also dapat naka-align din sa country yung international air quality benchmarks. Although despite nung maganda nilang framework, yung enforcement na is nare-remain siya as challenge gawa nga ng corruption dun sa testing centers and yung presence ng mga old and poorly maintenance vehicles and yung limited public awareness. So to address the said issues, of course, yung improvement when it comes to stricter monitoring and yung promotion sa clean transport technologies and yung better public participation are necessary to make, of course, the policy more effective. So as we conclude our presentation, we want to highlight one key message, which is cleaner air starts with cleaner choices. So the Cleaner Air Act or the Air RA 8749 and the DENR DAO 200351 remind us that law are not just words on paper. They are safeguards for our health, our environment, and our future. So while challenges remain enforcement and compliance, each effort we make, whether through stricter monitoring or kahit yung pagpopromote ng sustainable transport and yung pag-raise natin sa public awareness, of course, it brings us closer to healthier and safer cities. So again, this is Group 6 and that's all for our presentation.